Okay, if you're any kind of creator, you know the feeling. That constant nagging pressure to answer one big question: what's my style? I mean, it's a question that can totally paralyze you. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? Let's dig into that. So let's just ask it straight up. Is artistic style something you're supposed to find? Like you're on some kind of treasure hunt, and if you just look hard enough, you'll uncover it? Well, today, we're going to tear that whole idea apart. So here's the myth that causes so much stress. We treat finding a style like it's a branding decision. You know, like you can just walk down an aisle and pick one off a shelf. I think I'll take the moody black and white look today. Or, you know what, I'll go with a minimalist writing voice. We literally treat it like we're shopping, and that's exactly why it's so frustrating. So if you don't choose it, where on earth does it come from? Well, the journey actually starts in a much, much humbler place. It doesn't start with choice. It starts with submission. It all starts with building your craft. Every single artist starts right here, in what you could call the sponge stage. You copy your heroes. You try to do what the masters did. Now, this isn't about ripping people off. It's about learning the language. You're basically reverse engineering their work to figure out, how did they do that? How did they make that magic? You got to learn the rules and the mechanics before you can even think about breaking them. And you know, there's this incredible story from the 1920s that just nails this idea. This German philosopher, Eugen Hergel, he goes to Japan to try and understand Zen. So he takes up archery, but he comes at it with this very Western mindset: aim, shoot, hit the target, win. He's trying to force it just through willpower and effort. And for years, he just completely failed. And his master's advice was just completely backwards to him. He wasn't told to aim harder or to try harder. He was told that the perfect shot isn't something you force into existence. It has to fall. Just like a ripe fruit falls from a tree, it's an act of release, not an act of force. And that right there, that's the key. Okay, so let's use a metaphor here that's going to guide us through the rest of this. I want you to think of your craft, your technical skill, your fundamentals, as a bamboo leaf. And your only job in this first stage is to grow that leaf. Make it strong, make it flexible, because its whole purpose is to be able to hold the weight of what's coming later. A weak leaf is just going to snap. So once you've built that foundation, get ready. Because now comes a part that honestly feels like you're going backwards. This is the struggle, and the only way through it is to just embrace how uncomfortable it's going to be. We'll call this the messy stage. It is chaotic, it is absolutely frustrating. It's that infamous gap you hear about, where your taste is amazing, you know what's good, but your skills just aren't there yet. You start mashing influences together, and a lot of it just doesn't work. But this stage is so important. It's where you learn what to say no to. Style is just as much about what you throw away as what you decide to keep. And here's a perfect story that shows why that struggle is so valuable. Imagine a street photographer. She's forced to take a boring commercial class where she has to shoot glassware. She hates it. She's learning these super tedious cold lighting techniques that feel totally useless for her art. But then, years later, she's in a studio with a group of dancers. And out of nowhere, that useless skill comes rushing back. She applies that cold, precise, glassy lighting to the warm, fluid movement of a human body, and boom, a style that is completely unique is born right there on the spot. So what's the point of all this? The point is, the struggle, those assignments you hate, all the messy experiments, they're not failures. What you're actually doing is stocking your unconscious mind. You're building this huge, diverse library of tools and skills. You might have no idea why you're learning them right now, but your brain is filing every single one away for some future magic synthesis. And that brings us to the final stage. After all that work building your craft, and after all that struggle and experimentation, something really incredible happens. The synthesis. This is the moment Hergel's Zen master was talking about. This is when it shoots. But before we get there, we have to draw a super important line between two things. On one hand, you have style. That's the surface stuff. The camera lens you use, your color palette, the kind of brush strokes you make. But then you have voice, and that's the substance. That's your worldview, the themes you can't stop thinking about, your obsessions. And you only get that real, authentic signature when your style is perfectly serving your voice. So let's go back to that metaphor, the bamboo leaf. That leaf is your craft. Now comes the second part, the snow. And the snow is your life. It's every book you've ever read, every heartbreak you've gone through, every country you visited. It's your totally unique accumulation of experiences. It just falls slowly, flake by flake, and you can't rush it. This is your voice, gathering its weight. And here is the magic moment. The Zen masters described it like this. The snow keeps piling up on that leaf, bending it lower and lower and lower. And then, at a certain critical point, the release just happens. It's not a decision, it's physics. This is the secret. True, authentic style is that unintentional release. It's what happens when the weight of your life becomes too heavy for the vessel of your craft to hold anymore. The art happens to you. You don't decide to shoot the arrow. It shoots. Your style is just the inevitable, beautiful result of that very specific tension. So what does this all mean for you and me? It means we have to stop hunting for our style. We need to embrace what you might call the aimless art. It's about trusting the process, not being obsessed with the outcome. So the real journey, it looks like this. First, you build your craft relentlessly. You submit to the basics, you copy the masters. Second, you lean into that messy struggle to stock your mind with a huge toolkit. Third, and this is so important, you live your life. You live it with intensity so you can gather that snow of experience. And finally, you just let go. You have to trust that the release will come when the time is right. The painter Henri Matisse famously said, "Creativity takes courage." And we usually think that means having the courage to show your work to people. But maybe the real courage is committing to this long, patient, often frustrating process. The courage to trust that your own unique path, with all of its weird detours and struggles, is exactly the path you need to be on. So here's the bottom line. Style isn't the goal you're supposed to be aiming for. It's the evidence you leave behind. It is the unique shape your art takes simply because no one else on earth has your exact skills, your exact obsessions, and your exact life experiences. It's the beautiful mark left by your bamboo leaf, finally bending under the weight of your snow. So I'll leave you with this thought. Stop asking, what is my style? It's the wrong question. It only leads to anxiety and imitation. Instead, I want you to ask yourself this. What craft am I building? And what weight am I gathering? Focus on that, and I promise you the style will find you.